Hi everyone, I'm Kobi. Welcome back to my show. This week I have with me Leighanne Jordan. She is a senior here at Bellarmine. She is a sports administration and communications double major. And something else about Leighanne, she actually played field hockey here at Bellarmine for her first 3 years. Unfortunately could not play this year because she's had 3 ACL surgeries, going on next week to your 4th, correct?
That is correct. Thanks for having me, Kobi.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. I guess my first question for you, how are you feeling about next week? I mean, you've been through it 3 more times, but another one?
What's another surgery? That's that's how I'm looking at it, you know? I mean, my freshman year, I'm just going to tell you about it.
Okay,
if that's
sounds
okay.
good,
I'm going to tell you about the journey.
Yeah, tell me the story.
So, I came to Bellarmine from Columbus, Ohio, and playing field hockey, of course, and I played a couple games my freshman year, not very much, a couple minutes here and there. And
freshman year stuff.
Yeah, exactly, you get it. And then, practice one day, just slipped, landed wrong, and tore my ACL. I didn't know it right away. I remember going to UDH the next day and being like, wow, it kind of hurts a little bit. And then, as the day progressed, I was like, something's not right. So they went in, they checked it out, and I tore my ACL. That was, surgery number 1. So I had that in the fall of 2019, my freshman year here at Bellarmine. And then continued to, COVID hit later. So my sophomore year at Bellarmine was COVID. And at the end of my first year, we went home. So I went home, and I was, rehabbing at home over Zoom. And can you imagine? I was doing squats.
With who? The trainers here?
With the trainers here over Zoom. Yeah.
COVID was a weird time.
It was very weird. And so just the whole process was a lot. And I've never been through an injury so mental. And I didn't really know how to handle it. And then I came back from rehab and tore it again the first practice back. Had another surgery. And then, junior year, I was a part of the team. It was a little hard mentally because I knew I wasn't going to be back on the field. And senior year, I was like, I want to focus on myself a little bit. So I didn't really know I was going to have a 4th surgery, which, like you said, is next week. So we're just going to hang in there.
So you said that it was hard mentally, I can imagine, just with all the time that goes into rehabbing and just dealing with the fact that you're not doing the sport that you love. How did you cope with that, mentally?
Good question. Well, I think I learned a lot about myself. I think I've definitely grown since then, and just, surrounding yourself with positive people and knowing that you have a lot of sources and, people that have your back and are rooting for you. I definitely think I've made some really great friendships over the years, and I think, I reached out, if I'm going to be honest, I reached out to a lot of, Bellarmine's counseling centers, and I was seeing Jamie over at within the counseling center and the sports counseling center, so that was really, really helpful.
Would you recommend those services to any other athletes who might be going through the same thing?
Absolutely. I think that I would recommend that to anyone because college is such a weird time, and whether you're a student athlete or you're just a student, it's really weird to be on your own and do everything by yourself and transition, and I think it's nice to have a friend or just someone who doesn't really know you talk to you.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that. So going back the first time that it happened, obviously when it's the first time, you don't know really what to do about that. Were you expected to make a full recovery? Or was it just kind of playing it by ear?
Yeah. I was expected to make a full recovery, but COVID was not expected. I blame a lot on my injury on COVID, even though, it's something that happened and it's not an excuse. But I think it didn't help. I didn't really know what to expect. And everyone that I talked to was like, oh, ACLs, they're so mental. And they really are. So I was expected to make a full recovery. I did. I just slipped. And, yeah, accidents happen.
So what would you say has been the hardest part of the recovery, the surgeries, so obviously giving up your sport? What do you think has been the hardest part of that?
Wow, that's deep.
It is deep.
The hardest part, honestly, this is gonna sound selfish, but I feel like The hardest part is probably moving on from your sport and just like being expected to be okay. Because I feel like for a while, it was really hard to like kind of go through an injury by yourself and not really know what to do. And it was really hard to like rehab and actually go to practices and sit there, or go expect myself to wake up and drive myself to go rehab and see trainers and doctors and do it all by myself.
I feel like this is an obvious question, but do you miss it?
I do. It's not an obvious question. I mean, I'm a senior now, and I feel like I've been able to do a lot of other things because of taking like a step away from field hockey. But at the end of the day, I'm very grateful for it because, of course, I miss it. But if it wasn't for field hockey, I probably wouldn't be here at Bellarmine, and I wouldn't have the opportunities I've had, and I wouldn't be able to be a broadcasting major with you. So
The best part.
that's right.
Are you still involved with field hockey at all? Like, do you do film for field hockey ever?
So I actually, this is kind of fun. I was able to film one of their games for ESPN this year, so that was really fun. And I'm not a part of the team, like on the team, because I decided to step away for the medical injury, and I have a medical exemption, so I can't go back on the field. But I think I was like a really good manager for the past 3 years, so my time came.
And I'm assuming you're still close with everybody on the team. Do they still see you as part of the team, even though you're not physically playing with them?
Yeah, I definitely think that they have treated me no different, and a lot of my best friends are on the team, so it's really cool to support them and see them do great things, even though I'm not physically there. But I still see them, we still hang out, and they still treat me the same.
Well, good. I'm very glad for that, and I'm sure you are too. So going a little bit less heavy, what are your go-to preparations before a surgery? You've got a lot of practice with it. So what like the night before, the days leading up, what's your go-to to get ready?
Yes. So I hope no one else really has to deal with this or be prepared like this. But I think, you see the doctors, they tell you do this, do that, no eating I think it's 12 hours before, no eating before midnight, all of that. Don't paint your nails. Yeah, okay. I know, right. I can't get my nails done.
Do you know why?
I think it's for the blood flow. They have to see your circulation.
Okay.
But there's so many other ways they can do that. But anyways, my mom always comes to town, and she always stays with me and just makes me food. That's the best part. I feel like I get babied. Everyone takes care of me because they have to.
Because you can't walk.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a lot of Jell-O.
A little bit.
What's your favorite flavor of Jell-O before surgery?
Cherry. That's the only flavor I really know.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I don't know. Never know.
I don't really see a lot of Jell-O on like the store shelves.
Guess that's a good point. Okay, so do you have any words of wisdom or pieces of advice for any other student athlete who may be going through an injury or just taking time away from a sport?
Yeah, that's a good point. I've definitely seen a lot of ACL injuries this year, and it's really hard. And just injuries in general, they're hard mentally, and if you've never been through one, you don't know what to expect. So you got to take it day by day. That's the biggest thing to do. Taking it day by day and reaching out to those who support you and who are there for you, because you know what? At the end of the day, it's you versus the injury, and that's the hardest part. But I really think that, I don't know, you've got it. Be your own cheerleader.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Funny story, a little bit off topic. Freshman year, we were in sports media together, I think. Yeah, that was a long time ago with Professor Fogel. And I remember he was like, Leighanne tore her ACL again, so she's not going to be here.
Oh,
and
my
I was
gosh.
like, we didn't know each other yet. And I was like, oh, my gosh. Again? What do you mean again? So
that is so funny because, Professor Fogel. I remember, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I remember having friends in that class. And we were over Zoom.
Yes.
We were over Zoom, and they would be like, he's talking about you again. He's telling the class updates. So funny.
We did definitely get updates. But I really, really appreciate you coming in and sharing the story. I know it was a lot, but I'm really glad that you've been able to learn from it and can share your story with anybody else who might be able to learn from it as well.
Thanks,
And help
Kobi.
them through your situation. Yeah, of course. Well, if you all want to tune in next week, me and Leighanne will actually join together, and we will be interviewing somebody from the esports team to talk about that and the new minor that was introduced at Bellarmine. So we're super excited about that. So if you want to hear more about that, you can catch us on there next week. But thank you for watching, and we will hopefully see you next week.